right, I'm back. That was some fortuitous timing. Maybe spoke a little too early. So the crowd is moving again, so I'm back up. Did see the riot police speaking into their walkie-talkies, remobilizing as the march continues down Square Victoria Street. So not sure what the direction of the crowd is going to be at this point, but maybe it'll be meeting back up with this other group that we were hearing about earlier. Yeah, this is the largest police presence I've seen thus far today, here in front of Place Victoria. So there's obviously some importance here. They don't want the possibility of protesters or elements of the protest movement today coming anywhere near certain buildings, and this seems to be one of the priorities. We do have some people with anti-austerity flags that are sitting on the stairs here. That seems to be just all right with the police, but nothing more than that. So we do have a little bit more riot police presence and movement right now as the crowd continues down Square Victoria, taking a left on Saint-Jacques. Oh, the ever-present Montreal roadworks. So this does appear to be the new direction for the whole crowd and not just a smaller group. Part 2. Curious people in the chat, go ahead and let me know if you're at work right now and are planning to attend any of the strike and protest activities this evening. Let us know in the chat. I'd be interested to know if there are some people who just wanted to make it today but couldn't, and whether you're planning on coming out in the evening. So taking a left on Saint-Jacques and now a right on McGill. We've got Flernoble here. I don't know when he put that in the chat, but saying that there might be some interference, and he's wondering if there's just a lot of interference in this particular location. I would suspect so, not only because of the large gathering and therefore the large number of mobile devices, and that might cause some interference, but I have had some issues before, specifically in Square Victoria, where my connection was quite a bit poorer than usual, so hopefully that'll clear up. Do see some riot police now walking on the sidewalk, so familiar tactic that we've seen where they flank the protesters protesters on either side. So far, I've only seen them on that end of the sidewalk, so we'll see if more riot police come out. So far, no issues that I've seen, no confrontations between protesters or police. So yeah, we do have the other side of the sidewalk is flanked as well on the other side of that street. So yeah, we do have some riot police on the ground, but it's actually quite comparable to the number of riot police officers that you would see at a much smaller protest. So I would still characterize the police response as being quite muted thus far. You got some bubbles in the air. That's when you know you've got a big protest. When you've got enough people that one of them thought to bring some bubbles. For those of you wondering about the origins of that siren, it's actually a protester, as far as I can see, who brought a dedicated siren machine, which was very thoughtful. I don't know. Riot police officer there's got his water bottle in his back pocket. Man, I wish my pockets were that big. That would be really convenient. So we've got the usual assortment of sonic devices at this protest, some sirens, some whistles, some horns, obviously the voices of the people screaming in opposition to austerity in Quebec. And that siren machine, I don't know about that one. Worth noting that the gentleman operating the siren machine does have earplugs. Also worth noting that a lot of the people around him do not have earplugs. So we are walking down McGill towards Old Montreal. I did see on social media that there was a gathering planned near the water of the Old Port. It was going to be sort of a picnic type event that is associated with the strike, so maybe we're headed there. That would be nice. I didn't bring anything though. It's kind of rude to show up to a picnic without anything, except for a hunger for the truth, which is what I always bring. So it seems that most of, if not all of the group that had gathered at Square Victoria after leaving Phillips Square has joined up with this new march towards the Old Port. Yeah, that siren is definitely unpleasant to deal with at times, but I'm sure it serves the purpose of alerting people that the march is going by, as if you wouldn't know it already from the drums and the horns and the whistles and the screaming. But one other element to the cacophony, I suppose. So yeah, I was asking before, I'd love to see some comments about if you are Montreal-based or thereabouts, and was wanting to come out here today but couldn't make it, and whether you're going to be coming out to any of the protest activities later in the day and the evening. Let us know. I'd be really interested to see if there's some people who just couldn't make it and they're going to make it later. Yeah, we've got a very diverse crowd here today, different organizations, different unions, and we also have people young and old, families, so very, very diverse today. Walking by the intersection of McGill and Youville, heading towards the old port. So as far as I can see, the crowd still extends all the way back towards Square Victoria. So we've got a crowd here that stretches across several blocks. Definitely numbering in the thousands. Not sure about a more precise estimate, but that's the sense I get. Yeah, so we've got Hugo Trottier-7 here saying Bank of Montreal requests police to evict about 100 demonstrators. We did hear earlier that there were some protesters who were occupying a building downtown, so that may very well be it. Thank you for the information. Uprising asking, why aren't people running? Isn't this a marathon? Not yet. It might turn into one, who knows? It's certainly a good day for it. These are definitely the conditions I like to run in. All right, we've got an electric guitar. Somebody shredding for the crowd here. If anybody's got any requests they'd like me to scream out, now's the time. Crowd seems happy about it. You see all kinds of things at these protests. So we've got another comment here from Hugo Trottier-7 saying that police are possibly asking for more deployments near Beaubien metros. So yeah, we did see that there was an activity organized at Beaubien Metro that was going to be starting at around 11 a.m. if I remember correctly. My plan was originally to go from Phillips Square to Beaubien Metro, check that out, but the march has continued in large part here, so I'm sticking with this group. Guitar Man continue to come in, asking for the Internationale and Sandman by Metallica. All right, so the back of the crowd here is caught up, so I'm going to keep walking and see where the protest is continuing to. So we're on the intersection right now of McGill and Margaret-Duville, still continuing towards the old port. Like I said, I did hear about a sort of a picnic event that was happening there, so possibly meeting up with that group. So we're now taking a left off of McGill, and we are, I suppose, officially in the old port. It's a beautiful day to be here. Sun's out, not too much cloud cover, temperature's nice, a cool breeze. Couldn't ask for any better. So for our international viewers who are not maybe familiar with Montreal that much, the old port is sort of a historic area of Montreal. A lot of older buildings. It's sort of a touristy area, but it's still quite nice. And you'll get to see a little bit more of it shortly. May Day 2015 saying, looking forward to seeing the faces of the tourists. Yeah. Yeah, me too. You inevitably, I mean, it's happened to me as well, where people who just, sometimes they're from here, but a lot of times it is a tourist. They'll just sort of come up to me and see that I'm live streaming or that I have a press pass, and they'll be like, what's happening? Well, there's this austerity, and then you just go from there. Yeah, police continue to mobilize along with the direction of the crowd. So far, no issues, though. So this might be, oh yeah, okay. So this might be some of the picnic activities that I've heard about. We've got some people with union flags and anti-austerity flags who have met up and are having a little bit of lunch. So maybe some people from this group might join up with a larger march. Not sure about the direction it's going to take right now. We do have a little bit of a standstill for the march. Police are signaling to one another to continue moving. We do have a riot police officer with a projectile weapon, possibly for tear gas or rubber bullets should they decide that the need arises, but I doubt that'll be the case with such a diverse and large group here today in broad daylight as well. So we do appear to have what might be a blockade. So we'll see if the protesters continue. Yeah. So they're continuing in this direction, and we do have riot police on the other end of that street over there. So we do have more riot police that have been deployed. So we've got a chant here for people to keep moving. Very large riot police presence here. Let me get a little bit closer to give you a sense of what might be following the group as it continues along. So yeah, a lot of police vehicles and vans. So we've got about 24, maybe a little bit more riot police officers here. So far they haven't deployed that close to the march, but that might be a preview of things to come. Worth noting that in the face of this much police presence, the mood has calmed down a little bit. It's a bit more muted than it was before. Maybe people are a little bit nervous at the sight of so much police. Because keep in mind as well, when it's a group this large, these aren't your regulars. These aren't your nightly protesters who are used to seeing riot police out in force. So that might have a pretty significant impact on the mood. The crowd is continuing to move at a slower pace. Calls to keep moving. I'm not exactly sure why the movement has stopped at this point, but there was a bit of a standstill and a call to keep moving, and now we do see a bit of movement.
Hey, franchement, là, pourquoi t'as pas amené une vraie caméra? Pas de vidéo.
All right, so the crowd continuing to move along the old port. Riot police is following. Gonna move ahead here so you can see the front of the crowd. We still have some one police motorcycle and some vehicles off in the distance, and one police van, most likely carrying some riot police officers that's being deployed to remobilize, and maybe one of the likely points where this march is going to go. Yeah, that's my suspicion right now, is that the mood has turned a little bit in the face of this police presence. Just had a protester profess some love for me. That's nice. some of the familiar chants being cried out right now. Right now, it's anti-capitalist. We might have slightly fewer numbers here, but definitely still a very large group, and perhaps going to meet up with another group, so maybe the atmosphere is going to pick up a little bit once that happens. Some traffic is blocked here on the intersections. Fleur Noble asking if the guy with the siren left. No, I doubt it. He seemed to be in here for the long haul, but maybe his siren machine has taken a leave of absence, which can't say I'm too disappointed by, especially when it goes off that close to you. All right, we do have some people in the building here, banging on some pots in solidarity. We got a comment here from Mayday 2015. I'll say it for you and for all the viewers who are new to the stream. But if you have any questions or comments, if you could just break them down into smaller chunks, maybe one sentence at a time, or very short sentences, because I can't see the whole comment in the chat since it's just on my phone. But from the gist of it, I see here Mayday 2015 saying from Montreal, saying that watching the live stream is maybe a bit of a test drive before coming out. Yeah, if there's anybody watching who maybe is a little bit reticent to join the protests today, possibly in some anxiety that there might be some police action, I wouldn't say don't worry about it. There's always that possibility that stuff might kick off. But especially for these daytime marches where it's this large and there are so many different organizations, the police response is normally much more muted and a lot less aggressive, less hands-on. So it's a beautiful day. Come out. Why not? Get some walking done, work on your cardio, get a tan. So the mood is picking back up a little bit. For those of you who have just joined recently, I'm Matt Damol. Thank you for joining us. This is my live stream of the May Day March happening started in downtown Montreal. We're now in the old port of Montreal. For more information, follow me on Twitter, @MattDamol. The handle is in the title of the stream. Check out the Link Newspaper.ca and 99media.org as well for all-day coverage of May Day strike activities and protests. It's going to be going on all day pretty much. We're going to have a big nighttime march later on around 6 that's starting back up at Phillips Square. All indications is that that's going to be a big one. And as always, don't be shy. Please contribute to the chat. I am keeping an eye on it, and I'll do my very best to answer questions or respond to comments or anything like that. Keep it civil, obviously. Please. Thank you. So yeah, a lot of independent media here today. GoPros and DSLRs and camcorders and the like. So it's always nice to see a large presence of independent and citizen journalists covering events like this. We can't leave all the fun to the mainstream media, can we? So we do see some people who are getting close to the riot police officers, and they're being directed to go back into the street. The riot police typically don't like it when you get too close at these marches. Although we do have some younger people there walking next to the riot police officers, but they don't seem to have an issue with them. All right, battery check. Let me just see how I'm doing here. I am at 21%, so I do have an external battery pack that I'll be plugging in shortly. So no worries, no danger of the stream going down anytime soon. So I get the sense here that people are taking a left on Saint-Laurent. Yeah, so that's where the march is most likely going to continue, is down Saint-Laurent from the old port. So no picnic, but we might have picked up some people who were participating in a sort of union-affiliated picnics here in the old port. They might be continuing along with the march. Mayday 2015 asking, do people sometimes come alone to these things, meet up with people? Definitely. You'll usually see people grouped together with at least one other person or with a larger group. But I've certainly seen people who just either plan to come alone, or maybe they're just in a restaurant or a cafe and they see the march passing by and they run out to join it, and they are on their own. But the funny thing about these marches is that and I've had this happen personally, you show up to one of these things alone, and this has happened to me while I've been covering them, and then you will inevitably bump into somebody that you know. It is an immutable law of these protests, is that you will see somebody either that you know personally or just somebody that you've seen in the marches before, and you'll recognize each other, and then a friendship develops, and that's a beautiful thing. So come out, make a friend. That's what I say. Yeah, so we are walking in the general direction of l'Hôtel de Ville, City Hall, and possibly the courthouse, so we'll see about that. Okay. Before anything kicks off, bear with me for just a second. I'm going to plug in my external battery pack here. Won't be very long. So this is the basic setup here. We've got this external battery pack, which I will keep in my bag. So I'm going to plug this part in here. This way. All right. And then this one goes in the cell phone. And I've got juice. All right. Keep that in the bag. Sorry, just getting the zipper just right so I'm not too encumbered by this wire coming out. Okay. All right. I'm juiced up, packed up, ready to go. Thank you for indulging me. We do have some honks from cars encouraging the protesters. So we are headed towards Notre Dame and possibly City Hall. So still a very large group, maybe not as large as it was as it left Square Victoria and previous to that Phillips Square, but for the time being still a sizable protester presence, leaving the old Port of Montreal, taking a right on Notre Dame towards City Hall and the entrance to the courthouse. Got some confused teenagers, high school students. This is the real education, am I right, folks? Democracy. But they should go back to school too. I'm not advocating them not going back. So we're on the intersection right now of Saint Laurent and Notre Dame, and the march has taken a right on Notre Dame. So we've got a chant there. The capital is waging war against us, war against the capital. So that's another familiar anti-capitalist, anti-austerity sentiment that you'll hear at these protests. So we are walking by the Palais de Justice, the Montreal courthouse, headed towards City Hall. We did hear, I did see a comment before there might be a larger police presence there, so we'll see when we get there. Apparently there are tables being installed for a barbecue in front of City Hall. Okay. Probably wouldn't partake because you get your hands all sticky. Gum up my phone. Nobody wants that. Although I could go for some ribs, but that would be the worst decision. And the best. I'm going to try to get ahead a little bit, see where the police presence is, if there is one, in response to the location of the protesters. Yep, we've definitely got some tourist buses here. Definitely going to freak some people out today. So we're now walking by Place Jacques-Cartier and Notre Dame. So yeah, we've got some comments here saying that there are some other smaller protests happening here. Saint Denis and Jerry Bank being graffitied by protesters. Also here that there's a small demonstration picking up on Marcel-Lorrain in Saint Laurent. That's an interesting image to have in mind, because Ville Saint Laurent is sort of an interesting little suburb, a lot of industrial, commercial areas. So not necessarily the ideal breeding point for a spontaneous demonstration, but there were definitely some calls to, as far as I saw, there was a call for in Ville Saint Laurent for people to amass at the parking lot of Place Vertu, the shopping mall over there. So we'll see if anything comes of that. But yeah, events and demonstrations taking place all over Montreal, Quebec, and the world. May Day. Oh man, yeah, you weren't kidding. I think we got a barbecue table here. Yeah, totally. So we got your normal assortment of condiments, some onions, ketchup, mustard, some coleslaw. Hello. No hot dogs yet though, but we got the buns. And we got the barbecue. Oh, that hurts right now because I'm really hungry. Cloud Nub, pink camo pants spotted, thank you. For those of you who are unaware, I am very strongly colorblind, so if I ever identify anything on the stream as a certain color and it's not that color, you can point it out, but just be kind, okay? I can't control it. So the march appears to be taking a right onto Champ de Mars, just off of the metro entrance, in front of the municipal courthouse. Also, maybe worth noting that in ongoing news in Montreal, we do have a student protest leader, Hamza Babou, who's been in police custody for a couple of weeks. He was not released on bail, which was surprising for many people from all stripes, protesters, non-protesters, and people in the legal community as well, saying that that was a very odd and perhaps unjustified decision. But he is going to be appearing in court today to hear about some new charges. So we'll stay on top of that story with any updates. That's somebody's pizza right there. Somebody's pizza is not going to be delivered. It's going to be delivered cold. Breaks my heart. All right, flag check. So the kinds of flags that we've seen today, all kinds. Red flags, white flags, black flags, anti-austerity, communist, feminist, some flags that quite simply just saying, in so many words, you know, everything sucks. Just all of it. Angry about everything. Taking a left here off of Champ de Mars onto Bon Secours. Yes, that was a Domino's car with a pizza in the back seat. So I've just had to walk by a table where some hot dogs are going to get made and a freshly cooked pizza. So we do have a police presence here in front of the municipal court. The riot police are blocking the entrance, although some people were moving in and out just now. have a call right now for the liberation of comrades. So I suspect that there might be some people still in custody that might be held here. I can't confirm that though. And the march is continuing slowly past the entrance here.
Emprisonné Anne Archimé! C'est la maison du peuple!
Non, mais quand tu fais dans la ville, comme ça on fait des bruits.
Un vieux mec, mais toi t'as pas connu ça, t'es trop jeune.
Non, non, j'ai connu ça, j'ai connu ça.
So we do have a bit of a standstill here in front of the municipal courthouse. Police still blocking the entrance. The march has not continued past the courthouse. So protesters are making a stand here, making themselves heard.
T'as vu, ça?
Yep, so the standstill continues here in front of the municipal courthouse. Still a riot police blockade. Protesters still standing in front, making noise, asking for the liberation of their comrades, most likely alluding to some of the student leaders. Protesters are continuing to move along, so I suspect that the march is going to continue shortly. Yeah, calls right now to move ahead. So riot police that were, some of the riot police that were blocking the entrance to the courthouse are now mobilizing to follow the march as it continues along.
Pas de retraite pour la police, un vive sa couvre-feu. Pas de retraite pour la police, un vive sa
Moving past the intersection of Bon Secours and Saint-Antoine. Still several hundred protesters in attendance. There are some other events taking place, some other marches, but this still does seem to be the main event. Heading towards Vigier, moving back towards downtown. My guess is that whatever itinerary had been provided up to the point where the police were hands off has expired. So right now, this is an organic march in terms of its direction, developing as it goes along. So we do see more police on the ground, some police vans following, riot police flanking on both sides of the sidewalk. So this looks more like the kinds of marches I'm used to covering. Walking past Saint-Denis and Vigier right now. Gonna get a little bit closer to where the bulk of the police presence is. So just to give you a sense, we still do have a large protester presence here in the upper hundreds, I'd suspect. So we're coming up to about over 2 hours of marching at this point. The gathering has been for a little bit longer than that. People were gathering in Phillips Square prior to the march starting. There were some speeches from different representatives from organizations ranging from representing feminist causes, equitable lodging, youth rights, and so forth. Past Saint-Denis and La Gauchetière, heading towards René Lévesque. So this march might end up, I have a suspicion that it might head back towards Phillips Square, the origin point, and obviously the starting point for tonight's protest. Excuse me. Allergy season. Starting as soon as it can, in full force. All right, so we are coming up to the intersection of Saint-Denis and René Lévesque. Just had that elderly lady asking me if she was allowed to walk. Yeah, I think she'll be okay. That was very sweet. That's nice to see. We got the whole family out over there. So we've got a comment here that the demonstration is expected to end at Place Émilie Gamelin. Yeah, I was getting the sense that it might be winding up for this particular march. I'm not sure if it was going to be Émilie Gamelin or Phillips Square. But we're definitely headed in the direction of Émilie Gamelin, so we'll see what happens. So it's a testament to just how many people were present at the outset of this march, given the numbers that we still have, even though some people have dispersed and broken off from the march, but we still have a pretty big presence here. Lots of unhappy faces behind those windshields right now. If anybody's got any suggestions for what I should get for lunch once this march ends, I'm open to your recommendations. I'm getting a bit peckish, so happy to crowdsource some lunch ideas. Go ahead. So up ahead now on Saint-Denis, I can see some police vans mobilizing. I see about 3 of them. Make that 4. So we might see a little bit more of a riot police presence. But once again, I'd be very surprised if there was any sort of move against protesters, because we do have families out here today, small children. It is still a pretty diverse and large crowd. Not necessarily the crowd that you would expect the police to move on at the student protest, for example. Yeah, Fernand saying go back to City Hall, get some hot dogs. Tempting. But there's a journalism ethics question there. Is if I partake in the hot dogs, do I become part of the story? Those hot dogs are part of the story. I can't, something to think about. Okay, so maybe a little bit of disagreement right now about the direction of the march. Some people were attempting to keep moving along Saint-Denis, but we do have some people saying take a right here on St. Catherine, and the riot police are running ahead in anticipation of that direction. Yeah, so we've got an active police mobilization right now down St. Catherine towards Place Émilie Gamelin. So right now, a slight standstill here on Saint-Denis and St. Catherine as people catch up, grow in numbers, and then we'll see which direction this takes.
Et je vois que le temps, je suis toujours déçu.
We've got a megaphone announcement saying continue down St. Catherine in this direction. So the police are blocking off the access to this UQAM building. We just had a bystander try to go down Saint-Denis and was directed to go east. So the police have made their desires clear that they want people continuing on St. Catherine, eastern direction. We do have a little bit of movement. People are still catching up, but people do seem to be moving in that direction. Yep, so the direction is now St. Catherine towards Place Émilie Gamelin for the most part. Still, even though things have tensed up a little bit, we still have some families present in the march, parents and kids. Some people saying, yeah, we definitely see lower numbers here. So some people have dispersed, but we still have a large group of people, a couple of hundred maybe. So I'll stick with this and see what the direction ends up being for the protesters and what the police response ends up being. Heading towards Barrie and St. Catherine. A lot of police blocking off access to Barrie. Now this is usually when these protests fizzle out, is around this area. But again, this is a little bit different today because we've got a larger group of protesters than usual. And it's broad daylight. We do have a lot of traffic circulating, so the dynamic might be a little bit different today. But I'll stick with it and see what ends up happening with this group. Should mention that if this particular march ends, that's not the end of the live streaming today by myself at Madamour on Twitter for the Link newspaper and 99 Media. There will be some more activities today, including a large march starting at Phillips Square around 6. So I will be live on the ground for that as well. So hope to see all of you this evening as well, watching and participating in the chat. Bring your friends, bring your family. Make it a family gathering. Put on the fireplace, roast some marshmallows, and watch Madamour live. That's what I'd be doing. Okay, so we've got maybe a couple of hundred people left. Intersection of St. Catherine and Barrie. We do have some people breaking off and entering the metro. Police vehicles on the intersections here, and riot police blocking off access to certain intersections. So I suspect that a large number of people are going to enter the metro system and call it a day for now, at least. But some people do appear to be continuing down St. Catherine, and I see a lot of police in that direction. So I'll continue in that direction and see what the protesters do and what the police do in response. Yeah, still a small number of protesters continuing along. So yeah, most likely the police blockade here is to direct people to take a left on Saint-Hubert, le Carré de Sable as we as it's been come to be known, the sandbox around Place Émilie Gamelin. People still pouring out on this street though, so the march is still definitely going, but the intensity has died down, the numbers have died down, but we still have some people out on the street, and I wouldn't go as far as to say that the police outnumber the protesters right now, but they're certainly out in numbers. Intersection here of St. Catherine and Saint-Hubert. Sort of a familiar blockade, but we do have people going onto the sidewalk here and bypassing and continuing down St. Catherine. And we do still have some kids here. So my suspicion, I'm not sure exactly about the police tactics, but in a situation where you did still have some families, maybe some kids out, maybe they're going to be a little, the police is going to be a bit more hands-off and let people move along without moving in. So no word from the police saying that people couldn't continue marching. There was a blockade on that intersection between St. Catherine and St. Sabah, but it was bypassed by people who went onto the sidewalk. Where is the protest?
Where did everyone go, man?
Yeah, they all went into the metro, I suspect.
It worked.
Yeah. That's been the regular police tactic, is to block off intersections strategically, get people near Place Gamelin, maybe discourage them by getting them to go round and round a little bit, and then eventually into the metro system. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. So we've got people continuing down St. Catherine right now. They did bypass the police blockade by going onto the sidewalk. There was no resistance from the police. So people are continuing in smaller numbers, but the march is still alive in some form. We still have some families present, still some anti-austerity flags being waved. So we'll see how much farther this protest ends up going. Kind of an odd one right now, because people are out in the street in the numbers that are remaining, but definitely in smaller numbers, and there's no real police response to this continuing march. Perso girl saying hello from Washington State. Hello there. How's the weather? Montreal loves the Pacific Northwest. Or so I've heard. I like Twin Peaks, so it's close enough, right? So quick recap. This particular event started in earnest around 9:30 a.m. There was already, as I arrived there, about 9:20, a large group of protesters and union members, representatives from different organizations, getting ready for today's march. The march proper probably started around 10 a.m. In very large numbers, possibly a couple of thousand people, maybe more, marching first from Phillips Square to Square Victoria. Some speeches were made decrying austerity measures in Montreal generally. And then the march continued from Square Victoria to the Old Port, up Saint Laurent, and thereabouts, and then we eventually came back up to the downtown core, now walking down St. Catherine Street. Fewer numbers, maybe about 100 or 200 people walking in the street. Still have some signs being waved, but no police presence. There was a blockade on the intersection of St. Sabah and St. Catherine, but that was bypassed without incident as people took to the sidewalk to get past. So we're now on the intersection of St. Catherine and Amherst, and there does not appear to be any issue. Crystal Girl saying it's a sunny, bright day in Washington State. It's a sunny, bright day here as well. Gotta love it. So worth noting here that we are coming into past the intersection of St. Catherine and Amherst, and this is a bystander street, so people would be walking on the street anyways. These beads are freaking me out. They're always in your periphery. It messes with you. So there's not really a main group of protesters right now. It is sort of dispersed across a couple of different blocks in small numbers, maybe totaling a couple of hundred people. But I would be surprised if we saw any additional police action. There were a couple of, I wouldn't say tense moments, but there were some standoffs where the majority of the protesters stopped on an intersection with some police blockades. People did eventually keep moving. A couple of strategically key areas like the entrance to UQAM the entrance to Municipal Courthouse, and then of course the fabled Place Émilie Gamelin, which is very often used as a path to maybe send people around and maybe discourage them a little bit and try to herd people into the metro system. So a couple of people did go of their own volition to the metro, broke off from the march, but no incident today. Events happening all over Montreal for May Day, International Workers' Day, in all kinds of different boroughs of Montreal, Ville Saint-Laurent, some stuff happening in Sherbrooke, Verdun, and beyond. So the big event tonight is going to be the big march happening at Phillips Square around 6 o'clock. I will be there tweeting at first, and then once things get underway, I will be back on the live stream. For the time being, I think I'm gonna call it a march, because the numbers have died down quite a bit. There's no police response, so I don't know if it's gonna necessarily be worth keeping with it. I'm gonna sort of regroup, get some lunch. Got to get that energy, some protein, so I can keep doing this all day. I'll hang around a little bit. If you have any questions, comments, anything related to May Day or the ongoing anti-austerity movement in Montreal, student protests, etc., go ahead and put that in the chat. I will be happy as fudge to answer or to comment. Preso Girl saying that you have me up on the Global Occupy News Network. Yeah, it's the live streams that I've been doing have blown up in a really big way, and I'm very grateful to all the different organizations and websites that have been mirroring the streams and been gaining some awareness that way. As I always say, it's never a bad thing to have more independent media, citizen journalists accessible for people to watch. I sometimes get comments from people who say, I'm watching about 3 live streams of the same event right now, and I think that is fantastic, because you never know what perspective or what biases might be present in what you're watching. So if you can get as many perspectives as possible, I think that's fantastic. Try to see it from all the angles, and citizen journalism is a big part of that. So May Day 2015 saying good job, Matt. Thanks. Thank you to you, May Day 2015, and all the people who have been watching thus far. As I said, I'm going to be back up a little bit later. I'm going to be covering the night protest this evening. I'm expecting that to be quite a large turnout, probably larger than what we had in the morning, given the fact that people are off of work, and they might be able to come down when they otherwise couldn't. As always, follow me on Twitter at Matt Damour. My Twitter handle is in the title of the stream. Check out the linknewspaper.ca and 99media.org, the 2 organizations that I'm affiliated with and partnered with for ongoing coverage of this protest and many more. Thanks very much for watching.